Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. It's your one-stop shop with everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. I'm Bob Matthews. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of our coverage. Stan Quinn meeting with reporters for his Monday afternoon press conference. He does it every week. Old boy was not happy this week, and why should he be? Because the Commanders pretty much played like hot garbage against Dallas. I mean, it's one thing to be missing your top three receivers. It's another thing on defense. Yeah, they were without Doris Armstrong for most of the game, but their secondary is more or less 100% at this point. Will Harris not there, but still, your key players are, and they couldn't stop anybody. And you could tell that Quinn was pretty upset about that. Now, how's that going to manifest itself next week against Kansas City? No idea. Well, we have some idea. It's the idea that we've got, the prognostication that we've got, the guess that we've got is that it ain't going to be good. But they've got to do something. We will get into it more in film study here in a couple of minutes because there were some really egregious plays. And some of them not by the guys who you might think, although the guys that you are concerned about on defense, trust me, they did not play well. But nevertheless, Quinn said that they've got a lot of stuff to figure out here this week, and they don't have a lot of time to do it. And with the Chiefs playing as well as they have the last couple of weeks, Patrick Mahomes looks like Patrick Mahomes again. Rashid Rice is back in the lineup and scaring the hell out of offenses. The running game is still solid. Travis Kelce is starting to look like Travis Kelce again. Not to mention the fact this is going to be played at Arrowhead. I mean, I see why Vegas has the line at 9.5 as we record this episode. But, hey, any given Sunday, Thursday night, or Monday night, right? So we'll see. Hey, who knows? Although I think we all think that it's not going to be pretty. All right, as for Jaden and the injury report, a little bit of good news there. Dan Quinn said that the MRI revealed that the hamstring it's not a serious injury still. At this point, I think you got to sit Jaden. I mean, obviously he is going to want to play. He's going to do everything he can to get on the field, but hamstrings are one of those things that can just linger and linger and linger if you don't let it heal. The season is at an inflection point here right now. And I don't see what you gain by playing Jaden Daniels. I mean, unless he's 100% on that hamstring. I don't see how he can be, but hey, who knows? Maybe by Friday he makes some sort of a miraculous recovery. But you don't gain anything by having him play this week if he's not 100%. If it's going to take a couple of weeks and he can get back in 2 weeks, for the game against Seattle, fine. At that point, they're 3-5. Theoretically speaking, if they go on a run at that point, starting the second half of the season, maybe they can get back into this thing. But as I said last night, when you look at this schedule, I think 3-7 is a real possibility. I mean, the Lions are playing great again as we record this. Seattle looks pretty tough right now. It's just, I don't see the point in putting him out there if he's not 100%. At least not now. Again, if you're looking at a team at 3-5 or 3-6 and you want to roll the dice on it and attempt to save the season, okay, I get that. But right now, I'd say put Marcus Mariota out there, see what he can do. As for film study, I don't think any of us were really surprised at what happened. And unless Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel can come back again, I don't think the offense is going to be a whole hell of a lot better. Remember, it's what we've been saying ever since we started this program, and that is that the difference in talent is razor thin. From the difference in the roster talent in Kansas City and Carolina, although Carolina's a little decent this year, so I guess I'll have to amend that and say the Jets. But the difference between the Chiefs and the Jets really isn't that much. It only takes a couple of key injuries in order to have your season go sideways. And face it, that's what's happened. I mean, it's one thing, if you're just missing Terry McLaurin. It's another thing if you're just missing Deebo Samuel or Noah Brown. Take all three of them out. Come on. I mean, there's virtually no chance. I think you've got to look back on this and say, why did Adam Peters push the contract negotiation as long as he did? There was just no reason for it. You should have paid him up front. You had the salary cap space to do it. Get him into camp. Don't have him missing all of camp, because you see what happens when that happens, and that's that soft tissue injuries, especially with a skill position player. Starting to look at the film, NFL's been a little bit slow getting out the All-22 on the NFL Plus stats page, which is where I go to watch it. It's a lot easier that way. But some of the things that jumped out at me, and we'll go into detail more tomorrow, the receivers, and again, I know this isn't going to shock anybody, weren't getting a huge amount of separation. And more to the point, Cliff Kingsbury wasn't calling a lot of deep shots in order to get the Cowboys out of stacking the box with 7 and 8 and sometimes even 9 guys. So no wonder the run game was as poor as it was, because the Cowboys just knew, didn't respect the deep ball from either Jaden or from Marcus. One of the, I know that we're all, we're all bagging on Marshawn Lattimore for good reason, but going back and looking at the tape, especially that touchdown, the long gainer to George Pickens right before the half. I went back to look at that play specifically. Lattimore had pretty good coverage there. Had pretty good coverage a couple of times. The pass interference call in the end zone, not so much in the first half. But on that play there right before the half, he had pretty good coverage on Pickens. The problem was Quan Martin at safety never went over to help, never turned and went to go and help. If they were in quarters coverage, which we think they were, again, we don't know what the defensive call was, but if it was quarters coverage, one of Quan Martin's main jobs, his only job really, is to stay deeper than the deepest receiver. Everybody else, all the other receivers, because they had motioned, I can't remember who it was, but the Cowboys actually motioned the other receiver on Pickens' side to the other side. It only left Pickens there on the left side. There was, everybody else was covered. Everybody had, was keeping the play in front of them. Why Martin didn't go over there and help, or was so late getting over to help, is beyond me. And that pretty much was the turning point in the game. It really was. So hopefully, again, something else to correct. And again, I'll have more on that when we do expanded film study tomorrow. As for viewer mail, thank you very much for all of the comments. Keep them coming. Again, what do we do here? Where does this team go from here? And is it fixable? Shout out Jim Phillips, 2380. Jim's one of our more loyal ones. 2 turnovers, 14 points. NFC Championship last year, 3 turnovers, 21 points. Too many injuries. Dallas had to shore up the middle of their defense. They did. So instead of running outside, they kept trying to go up the middle. That's on Kingsbury. Also dropped balls. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that tomorrow with Jaden's performance, but 3 drops at the very least. Yes, he's had accuracy problems, but the receivers aren't doing him any favors with the drops. Zach Ertz had 2 of them. Jalen Lane had 1, and all 3 of them were at key times. Obi Williams, 6878. Been watching the Redskins my whole life. It's my team. I live and die with it. For the last 30 years, we have been a laughing joke. So good last year. They put us in primetime games. However, we can't beat Chicago. We can't beat the Falcons, or an embarrassment. Once again, I love Dan Quinn. I love his coaching staff and crew. I love the team. There's so much talent out there. There's a lot of blame to go around. But I'm going to put it on Adam Peters. Should have paid McLaurin early, and McLaurin should have been out there on the field. I edited that a little, but thank you for the comments. I appreciate it. So keep them coming. We'll be back with you tomorrow. A little bit more film study as the guys have the day off. Time to get ready for Kansas City. And remember, like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.